Okay, with this video, we want to show some new upgrades we've made to Verbingo and show you that as a translator, you now have 4 tools to help you translate every segment correctly. I'm going to open up a segment here and we're going to focus on the very first one. This is an Italian segment, but most of you who understand translation will see and understand these issues. Notice the first segment here, and if you want to pause the video, feel free to do so. But this segment is, if you ask any translator, any Italian, they would say this is a good translation. But it's not. It's a bad translation. And I'm going to show you why. And because it's all based on translators need context, they need reference in order to put a proper translation in the proper context of a client. And that's what Verbingo strives to do. So here's how we want to help you do that. First of all, you open the segment. The first tool that you have at your disposal is the yellow highlight that is pushed out to you. This indicates terminology that has been set by the client. So we see already that the term for camera, macchina fotografica, is what it should be. Instead, the translator used photocamera. That is a hard error and a mistake that I will be not paying translators if they make. So that is one crucial error that must be watched. The other number 2 tool that we have is just the ability to generally search inside of a translation memory to see how terms have been translated before. This is a valuable tool for you to see how to be consistent with a given term. The third and fourth tools that we offer are right here, the machine translation and then translation memory suggestions. And you access those by clicking the fuzzy match button. Now, I know there's a lot of negative stuff about machine translation, but there's also a lot of positives, such as even if you don't like the translation, you can still get a general gist yourself to know better how to translate, and if nothing else, you can use cut and paste to help you avoid spelling and having to do a lot of typing. So make sure you use that to your advantage, but of course, don't just expect to use it because it is not approved. It's only there for help and suggestions. The fourth tool is probably the best one, and this is where we are aiming to push out matches, partial matches, to you as a translator. And this is where you have to pay attention to, this is where you see the style and the preferential usage of text that that comes from the past. And this is what you must adhere to and conform to. Notice in the sentence here, aiming the camera. Well, this could have been written in a number of different ways in English, but they chose the word aiming. So in a translation, do you use the gerund, the gerundive, or the infinitive? As a translator, they simply chose to follow aiming and they put puntando. But what if instead the style was to use the infinitive? And here is an example of what that might be. And so you need to check and see and maybe do a little research to see if that is indeed an infinitive for a command or an infinitive for a heading. Down here is another example of a term that we have tried to push, and that's the word for aim. The word aim right here is found here in this word rivolto. And so it's questionable whether or not this term, puntando, is even consistent. And so that would require maybe a little bit more research. Maybe you come up here and you type in the word aim and you see how these can be used, and then you can make decisions. Now I'm going to scooch down to 129 in this demo and show you a really clear example. Here's the sentence: choosing a location, aiming the camera, suitable mounting surfaces. This is a very common phrase you might see as a header or some kind of table of contents entry or something. Notice how, again, when I open it, I get the camera reference over here, but when I hit the translation memory suggestions, okay, we see immediately the translation memory has pulled the match for aiming the camera, right? And it's also pulled a match for choosing a location for your camera. But notice how the differences here, because one of them uses the puntando, which is the gerund or the gerundive, and then this one has converted it into a noun. So there's extreme inconsistency here in the style of the text. And this is something you have to research as a translator, and we will do the best we can to push it to you. But I can't accept a translation that's wrong. And this is how we can tell. So this sentence, you would want to make sure that things are consistent, Notice how also we've tried to give again terminology for the word mount is right here. You as a translator would know to read this and conform your translation to it. So this gives you many more tools than you've had before to know if things are right or wrong, and we will be working with you to ask you to fix things if they have been done incorrectly. We will also be striving very hard to improve this feature so to make your life easier as a translator. If you have any questions, please let me know or any of your friendly verbatim solution reps, and we will be glad to instruct you more. Thank you.